Now another similar question. Four cells of identical EMF epsilon and internal resistance R are connected in series to a variable resistor. The following graph shows the variation of terminal voltage of the combination with the current output. What is the EMF of each cell used? For what current from the cells does the maximum power dissipation occur in the circuit? And calculate the internal resistance of each cell. So these two we will do first, that is EMF of the cell and internal resistance of the cell. So here four cells of identical EMF, that's what is given. Four cells are there. So here as we look for the total EMF, the total EMF will be what? 5.6. Because when current is equal to 0, the potential difference is 5.6. So that corresponds to the EMF, total EMF of 4 cells. It is given identical cells. So we can write 4 epsilon will be equal to what? 5.6. So epsilon will be equal to 5.6 by 4. What will be 5.6 by 4? 5.6 by 4 will be equal to 1.4 volt. So we have 1.4 volt. So internal resistance of the cell you can find using any point on the graph. So we'll take this point. So from the graph, when you take the point, no, it corresponds to 4 cells EMF. That way you have to do. So when you use the equation V equal to epsilon minus IR, there V, epsilon, R and all, it stands for 4 cells. Okay, so here you can use that equation. So R is equal to V epsilon minus V by I. Okay, epsilon minus V by I. So 5.6 minus 2.8 divided by 1. You will get 2.8 ohm. So 2.8 ohm is the internal resistance of 4 cells. Okay, so what will be the internal resistance of one cell? 2.8 by 4. So you will get it as 0.7 ohm. So internal resistance of the cell, each cell is 0.7 ohm. Okay, so now coming to the next question. For what current from the cells does the maximum power dissipation occur in the circuit? You know the condition for maximum power dissipation. So that power is maximum when the external resistance is equal to internal resistance. Okay, so here total internal resistance is 4R. So external resistance also is 4R. So what will be Imax? Imax is equal to 4 epsilon divided by 4R plus 4R. That is epsilon divided by 2R. That is 1 ampere. Circuit shown. So in the circuit, the resistance R comes here. So that the current in the circuit is 0.2 ampere. Current in the circuit is 0.2 ampere. And what would be the potential difference between the points A and B? So you are asked to find two things, that is the value of the unknown resistance you have to find, and what potential difference between the points A and B also you have to find. So how will we go for this value of our, first of all you have to reduce this circuit. See, between A and B there are many resistances. Okay, so here you need to simplify this. You just look between A and B which all resistances come. First of all 5 and 5 in series, so 5 plus 5 10. In parallel with the 10 you have 30. In parallel with that again you have 15. So actually between A and B, 3 resistances come in series. Which all one? 10, then 30 and 15. So first step is to find the effective resistance between A and B. So we have 1 by RBA equal to 1 by 15 plus 1 by 30 plus 1 by 10. It will give you RBA equal to 6 ohm. Okay. Now to find internal resistance. So this between A and B, the resistance we got, it is 6 ohm. Okay, it is 6 ohm. Now we will apply Ohm's law and find that R. Okay, so here what is the total EMF? You just see 2 volt and 6 volt, they are opposing each other. So what will be the total EMF? It will be 6 minus 2. Okay, so we can write I is equal to total EMF what? 6 minus 2. 6 minus 2 is 4 volt divided by, just to take the total resistance. Here what is the total resistance? So here in this branch between A and B you have 6 ohm, and here we have 10 ohm. Then 10 plus 6, 16. Then comes the unknown resistance. Unknown resistance R. So 4 divided by 16 plus R you will get. That is what is I. And that I is given as what? 0.2 ampere. Solving this, you will get the answer to be what? 4 ohm. R is equal to 4 ohm. Okay, now if you know resistance 4 ohm, what will be the potential difference between A and B? The potential difference between A and B will be effective resistance of AB into 0.2. Current is 0.2. So effective resistance between A and B is 6 ohm. 6 into 0.2, that is 1.2 volt. A wire of resistance 4R is bent in the form of a circle. What is the effective resistance between the ends of the diameter? So here the wire is bent like this, and between the ends of the diameter you have to find the resistance. It's given wire has a resistance 4R. So you just see it is just like connecting two wires of resistances 2R each in parallel between that diametrically opposite points. It's just like this, half here and half here. Since it is of 4R, each half portion will have half the resistance, because resistance is directly proportional to length. So for half length it will have half resistance. So it is just like connecting two 2R resistances in parallel. So that is what is drawn here. Okay, 2R and 2R in parallel. If 2R and 2R are connected in parallel, what is the case? I have already told you, if n equal value resistors are connected in parallel, the effective resistance is that by n. So here it is 2R by 2. So the effective resistance becomes R. So that is the answer to the question. In the circuit shown, R1 equal to 4 ohm, R2, R3 equal to 15 ohm, and R4 is equal to 30 ohm, and epsilon is equal to 10 volt. Work out the equivalent resistance of the circuit and current in each resistor. So when we analyze the connection between A and B, you look between A and B, R2, then R4 also. So you should take care, this point and this point are same. Even if it is drawn like this, actually in between these 2 points nothing is connected, means these 2 points are at the same potential. Got it? So this R3, R4, R2, one end at the same point, the other end also, these 2 points also same. Got it? So what is it effectively? Even if it is drawn like this, effectively R2, R3 and R4 are connected in parallel. That is the case. R2, R3 and R4 are connected in parallel. So first of all, we need to find the effective resistance between that A and B. Okay. So finding the effective resistance, we will get 6 ohm. The effective resistance between A and B is 6 ohm. Now this 6 ohm comes in what series? The whole circuit, when we consider, it will be R1, and that 6 ohm will be coming in series. So epsilon is 10 volt, R1 is 4 volt, 4 ohm. So 4 ohm plus 6 ohm, 10 ohm. So we can find current I. I is equal to what? Epsilon divided by the total resistance, that is 10 divided by 10, that is 1 ampere. The current is 1 ampere. To find the current through each resistor, no, see, I is the current flowing through which one? R1. So through R1 the current is 1 ampere, no doubt. But between A and B, see, through that combination the current is 1 ampere. So you have to find the current through each one, R2, R3 and R4. Okay, since all the three are in parallel, the potential difference across each one will be same. What will be the potential difference between A and B? Resistance between A and B into the current. Current is 1. What is resistance between A and B? That is 6 ohm, and current is 1, so it will be 6 volt. So potential difference between A and B is 6 volt. Okay, now each resistor you can take, then its potential difference will be equal to 6 volt. Then you can find the current. So the thing is this, when you calculate the current, let's start with R2. So we have I2 R2 equal to, so I2 R2 will be equal to what? 6 volt. So what will be I2? I2 will be equal to 6 divided by R2. How much is R2? R2 is 15. So it will come as 2 by 5. So the current through R2 is 2 by 5 what? Ampere. So like that you can do for I3 and I4. I3 is what? 6 divided by 15. So again that is 2 by 5, 0.4. Then I4 is 6 divided by 30. So you'll get 0.2 ampere. Now these questions are typical questions with VI graphs. So we have already discussed, I think, if a graph is drawn with voltage along y-axis and current along x-axis, the graph obtained for a conductor, pure conductor, it will be a straight line graph, and the slope of the graph gives what? Resistance. So that is the point to be noted. For this type of graph, the slope gives what? Resistance. Slope is equal to resistance, because that slope itself gives resistance. Okay, now it's given, it shows for parallel and series combination of two metallic resistors. You're asked to find which one represents parallel. Justify your answer. And if two resistors are connected in series, you know, effective resistance increases, the resistance will be more. And when the same resistors are connected in parallel, effective resistance will be decreasing. That means it will be less than the lowest value. Okay, so in the graph, which graph shows more resistance? Of course it is B, because B is having more slope, so B shows more resistance. So B stands for what? Series, and A stands for parallel. So low resistance, lowest resistance for parallel, your lowest resistance is for graph A, and the answer is A. Okay, so that's what answers I'm not showing, I explained. Now coming to next, at the current voltage graphs for a given metallic wire at different temperatures T1 and T2 are shown in figure. Which of the temperatures T1 and T2 is higher or greater? That's what. So here you should note V and I just exchanged. Okay, V is along x-axis and I is along y-axis. So if the graph is drawn like this, the things get reversed actually. Okay, it is actually 1 by slope, or reciprocal of the slope gives resistance. So reciprocal of the slope only gives resistance. Okay, so here it's given, you're asked to find which of the temperatures is greater. So since reciprocal gives the resistance, lower the slope means higher the resistance. So here higher resistance will be for which graph? This graph. Higher resistance will be for this graph. Okay, that written T2. So it's given which temperature is what? Greater. So You know, for metallic conductors, as the temperature increases, resistance increases. So resistance at higher temperature, resistance will be more. So from the graph we said T2 is having more resistance. So which temperature is higher? T2 temperature is greater than T1. Okay, we can do it in another way also, as it is given here. That means as temperature increases, you know, resistance is increasing. So current will be decreasing. So if from the graph at constant voltage, you can look at the current. Which conductor shows lowest current will have highest resistance. That is the logic. Okay, so when you take one particular point V0, when you look at the current, lowest current is for which temperature? T2. So lowest current means higher resistance. Higher resistance means temperature also is higher. So that way also you can find out answer to this question. Anyway, the question is to find which is the highest temperature. The answer is T2 is highest temperature. Okay. Now another similar one. The voltage current graphs for two resistors of the same material and same radii with length L1 and L2 are shown in figure. If L1 is greater than L2, state with reason which of these graphs represents voltage current change for L1. Okay, so here again V is along y axis and x is along x axis. So slope is equal to what? Slope of the graph is equal to resistance. Okay, now so higher the slope, higher will be the resistance. Now it's given two resistors of same material and same radii. Same radii means what? Same area of cross section, means same thickness, only lengths are different. You know, R is equal to what? Rho L by A. So in these two resistors, rho and A are same, only difference is with L. And you know that R is directly proportional to what? Length. Okay, so as the length increases, resistance will be more. Okay, so which of these graphs represents voltage current change for L1? So A or B stands for L1, that's what. So higher resistance will be for L1 because L1 is greater than L2. Higher resistance is for which graph here? B, because B is having more slope. Okay, so L1 is represented by which graph? Graph B. Now next question, the VI graphs of two resistors and their series combination are shown. Which of these graphs represents the series combination of the other two? Give reason. So as I said earlier, when the resistors are connected in series, the effective resistance increases. But here the case is this, it is given reversely. That means I is along y axis. So as we said earlier, 1 by slope. It is 1 by slope is equal to what? Resistance. So lower the resistance, higher will be the resistance. So since they are connected in series, resistance will be high. So from the graph which shows highest resistance, graph 1. So graph 1 shows the effective resistance of 2 and 3 when they are connected in series. So the answer is graph 1. Now one small additional topic. Actually 2 or 3 years 1 mark questions were there from this topic, that is superconductivity. What is superconductivity? So you just keep in mind what is meant by superconductivity. It is the complete loss of resistivity by certain metals and alloys when they are cooled below a certain temperature. So it is a low temperature phenomenon. Superconductivity, it is a low temperature phenomenon, and the temperature at which it undergoes that means when it shows superconductivity, that means when the normal conductor becomes superconductor in a zero magnetic field, that is called as transition or critical temperature. Okay, so that temperature at which it shows that superconductivity is called that critical or transition temperature. And superconductivity was first observed for mercury at a temperature 4.2 Kelvin. Okay, and that graph, this graph also you just note down. Once this graph was given and it was asked, what does it show? So what does it show? It shows that what superconductivity. That means you can look from the graph. From the graph, what is it shown at that temperature? No, 4.2 Kelvin. Okay, at that temperature, what about resistance? Because on y-axis it is taken resistance. Resistance is becoming 0. So resistance becoming 0, that condition is called as what? Superconductivity. So the graph shows superconductivity of mercury which takes place at 4.2 Kelvin. So the shape of the graph, no, just note.